One of the bizarre things we've seen, especially here in London, but also in Australia, is the alliance between the LGBTQI+, the alphabet mob, and the jihadis, including
Well, one group wants to chop your genitals off and the other group wants to chop your head off. So you can sort of see the connection there. I've been in London for 3 days and I've passed 4 Hamas rallies.
So I was going to ask you about that because that's obviously, I've seen your Twitter and I can see a fair bit of that. How does it make you feel seeing what you're seeing here in London?
Well, it makes me feel the same way it makes you feel. I mean, it seems to me that there is some sort of invasion here. I don't mean that pejoratively. I mean it quite literally. If you live in a society that seemingly has hundreds of thousands of people who will celebrate beheadings and rapes and murders of innocents and all of the stuff that we've seen and some of the stuff, quite frankly, that many people have not seen, you have a problem on your hands. The West, and that's partly what this conference is about, is having trouble telling its story, explaining why Britain and Australia and America and Israel, these countries that have been based in individual rights and freedom and allowing people to live in a liberal fashion, and I mean that in the best sense of liberalism, obviously. If you can't tell that story, you are going to end up in a place where our countries will look far more like other Mideast countries where there's sectarian violence, there's hatred, where minorities are not treated well and everything else. So I think as horrific as the last 3 weeks have been, and it's really proliferated across the West in a very bizarre way that people didn't intend on seeing or didn't believe would happen, let's say. I think the silver lining is, as I've been in this conference, a lot of people see it now, really see it in a way that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. And now we have to put some of that into policy and get some people to wake up.
One of the bizarre things we've seen, especially here in London, but also in Australia, is the alliance between the LGBTQI+, the alphabet mob, and the jihadis, including...
Well, one group wants to chop your genitals off and the other group wants to chop your head off. So you can sort of see the connection there.
But why do you think they're really... Why are they aligning themselves?
No, well, it's completely psychotic, and it's exactly why intersectionality was always doomed to fail. And really the question is, how much destruction can these people wrought across the West as they implode? None of this makes sense. I mean, fortunately, I would say there's less buildings in Gaza right now for them to throw gays off of, so that's a nice little benefit of what the Israeli army's doing. But the leftists that are doing this, our academics and our entire institutional class has done something very dangerous by presenting everything to be the oppressed versus the oppressor. They have decided you are allowed to do the worst of the worst to a certain set of people, and then you will take people based on their perceived oppression. So let's say the gender-confused, purple-haired college kid suddenly thinks he has something in common with a Hamas terrorist. This is a really, really dangerous idea, and it's something that it will not last forever. I mean, you can see even some of the Islamists at the rallies. They got the Queers for Palestine sign behind them, and they're like, yeah, you can see them kind of rolling their eyes, like, we're not going to tolerate that for too long. But again, I would say that this is just the inevitable collapse of something that needs to collapse, and I think the best thing that guys like we can do, and you've done an unbelievable job of it, and Rebel has done an unbelievable job of it, is just keep exposing it, and good people eventually come down. The truth is the truth no matter what, and good people want to find the truth, and sometimes there's a lot of mess in front of the truth, and that's why gender confusion and confusion over raped women and all of this stuff. But the truth is the truth, and if you can show people kind of roughly where it is, they'll find it.
If you enjoyed this little interview that I've just recorded in London, yes, I'm in London. I've gone from the Israel-Gaza border to the ARC Forum here in London. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, but most importantly, share it far and wide. And if you want to see more of my reporting about the conflict from the front line over the last 2 weeks, and there's still some more content still being produced as we speak, go to thetruthaboutthewar.com. Thetruthaboutthewar.com. Check out all the stories and share them. And I'm doing plenty of other interviews here at the ARC Forum. They'll be produced and published over the next few weeks. But in the meantime, while the war is still raging, the ground operation is underway in Gaza, we'll make sure to put out these stories first. Thetruthaboutthewar.com.